to do. But this could be it. His could be his first title here as ShoWTimE and Patience face off against one another on King's Stage on Station. And we do have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner in this best of 5 as our blue Protoss representing Alien Invasion. It is Patience. And up to the top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss representing ESC Icy Box. It is ShoWTimE. Again, I need to reiterate, this is a piggyback broadcast on the German stream. I am merely just commentating over the top of what I can see in front of me. So it's quite a relaxed cast, to be honest with you. Normally, I either have to observe, or we have an observer for WCS, like Funker, for example. So yeah, it's pretty relaxed. I'm enjoying myself, and we have a great finals to kick things off here. We had a fantastic series before with Hero Marine and Patience. If you did not see Patience versus Hero Marine game number 4, I would advise going back and watching it. It wasn't exactly the longest of games, it wasn't the most epic of games, but what it did show is that if you are able to get into a really good spot with Widow Mines as a Terran, then you are going to be impenetrable. I turned the sound up a little bit. I did see you in chat. Unfortunately, there's 2-minute delay on your stream, guys, so you won't see me say that for a second. So my apologies. Oh no, actually, I think there's just like the normal delay, but I have turned the volume up. Tell me if it's okay, and then hopefully it is. Yay for on-the-fly changes. All right, so what are we going to see out of these two guys? I think more so than anybody, like out of these two, Patience really doesn't spring to mind when I think PvP. Despite taking some series of some good players, don't get me wrong, by like Hasu Orbs and First in respective tournaments. ShoWTimE's PvP is what springs out to me more so than not. Basically because I've cast a lot of EPS in the past where I've seen ShoWTimE go up against the likes of Hasu Orbs and Soccer and all the Protoss powerhouses in Germany. And there's quite a lot of them. Patience, on the other hand, PvZ and PvT really stand out to me. So this is going to be a little bit of an eye-opener for me to see if he can compete in this matchup. I'm under the thorough impression that he can do. I mean, it's Patience. He's pretty sick. He's pretty darn good. But for one of these guys, being an EPS champion is important. Patience defeating our current EPS champion in the semis. ShoWTimE defeating our EPS champion from 2012 in the semis. And now one of these can take it all. All right, so we're going to have Stargate versus Twilight opener. Stargate from Patience, Twilight from ShoWTimE. From here on out, excuse me. From here on out, one would argue that ShoWTimE would normally have the advantage in these tech order options, but it really does depend on what Patience is wanting to do. If he goes for an Oracle, for example, and then flies it around the perimeter of the map and then eventually goes in when his opponent's units would be out of place, then that would be good for him. But ShoWTimE, with this sentry that he has down, could be going for a very fast Nexus here, and it looks like he actually might be doing that. So this is a cool little option here from ShoWTimE. One thing's for sure is that ShoWTimE does not want to overstretch the mark. What do I mean by that? Well, if he starts making probes at the natural, it's very important that against an opponent like Patience, who is opening pretty darn aggressive with 3 gateways and a Stargate, he's not going to have, ShoWTimE's not going to have that many units to really deter a lot of this. So Patience is going to get highly aggressive against this position. ShoWTimE doesn't have a whole lot of space control capability at that natural. So I feel that in the end, Patience has a very, very good opportunity here to deny this natural from ever completing and force the cancellation. Yes, there are 2 more gateways down, but the Oracle sees the timing on those. Did it see the Dark Shrine? Did it see the Dark Shrine? Yes, it did. Thank you, Germans. Okay, so an interesting little option here, but I don't think he's going to be able to make use of that as well. Like, the Oracle and these Stalkers provide ample firepower. If he goes anywhere with that Sentry, it's going to get killed off by the Oracle very fast. Twilight Council has been added on here for Patience, so he's going to be committing straight to the Envision with this Oracle once these Dark Templar appear. And he did end up forcing the cancellation of this natural. It was going to be very, very difficult for ShoWTimE to ever hold on to that. But he is also getting Blink with the Dark Shrine. Meanwhile, Patience with his Twilight Council is basically, I think he's actually going to go for a Dark Shrine himself. I mean, he could go for Blink, but if he goes for a Dark Shrine, I think that's very, very clever. He is okay, he's going to go for Blink. The reason I say Dark Shrine, the reason I said Dark Shrine was because right now, if you look at the tech that ShoWTimE has, he has no detection at all. Absolutely none. He doesn't even have a Stargate to his name to go for detection. One would argue that ShoWTimE here, if he has the proper intel available to him, I don't exactly know what's going on, but because he had a hallucinated Phoenix heading over there at the first from that sentry, then he could have spotted what was going on in his opponent's main. He could have spotted the tech and could have spotted the Twilight Council. What is that? He actually just walled off with pylons at the top of his ramp. So Patience is very scared of a counter-attack. And the Mothership Core... Oh, what? Is he really buying time with these pylons to wait for the... Okay, I guess so. So Envision. It didn't have energy for Envision. One away. There you go. Alright, so he kills that off, and this investment wasn't really too effective. But at least he starts his Nexus behind that once again. Patience is added on the Robo Facility. Alright, so ShoWTimE's got his Robo Facility on the way as well. I think if Patience had actually gone for a Dark Shrine instead of Blink, he could have actually just won the game. It would entirely depend on how much attention ShoWTimE was paying to his ramp. But anyway. So, Robo and Forge for ShoWTimE means that he's looking to play a much, much longer game than Patience ever would be. I wonder how many Stalkers Patience actually has in total. Because I still think that he probably has enough to just break his opponent. He has 13 Stalkers. That's quite the army. That Robo finishing up now needs to get Immortals out quick. But he's going for an Observer. I don't think that's the right choice at all. But anyway, Guardian Shield goes up. He realizes his Blink Stalker advantage. Blink straight on top of this army. Photon Overcharge has been activated, but he just has so many Stalkers. He's going to run out of range of that. But he's whopping in 3 more Stalkers to replenish. He needed to start an Immortal straight away against this many Stalkers. The Observer's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think he saw a Twilight Council during all of this as well. Again, I can't check because I'm not observing, sorry, but... This Immortal can't come out quick enough. It needs to be out. But then if he lures all of the army down there, one Immortal against that many Stalkers isn't really that fantastic. So we may end up seeing a situation here where he blinks on top of all of that, draws the units away from the main base, and then gets some damage with the Oracle. But he actually dropped Envision on that, interestingly enough. That one Immortal could go down very quickly if he was able to control this properly. That's a lot of Stalkers that we're seeing. That Immortal is still raining hell down on it. Will end up killing the Immortal, though. There's still a good amount of Blink Stalkers here. The Oracle tanks a little bit of the damage, throwing down a Revelation on some of these units as well. But just superior Blink control. Second Photon Overcharge buys him a bit more time. He should have another Immortal in production behind this. And the Photon Overcharge actually trading not too badly. So now it's 10 Stalkers against 8 Stalkers and 1 Immortal. Right now, Patience does not win that fight. And he's going to have to go home by the looks of things. He did expand during all of this. But ShoWTimE should have the superior probe count now. Huh. And also the Forge starts. So ShoWTimE held on long enough to really get himself in a much better position. But, huh. All right. Okay. I think that Patience could have broken that if there were small differences in micro decisions. Like, for example, focusing down the Immortal very, very quickly in that engagement. But it's by the by. This is going to play out a little bit further. They're going to be relatively even. I would give ShoWTimE the slight lead, 1, because his Immortal count is higher already, and 2, because his +1 weapons is a little bit quicker. And if he spends full Chrono Boost into that +1 weapons, then that can cause a lot of problems, as Patience would ideally be wanting to catch up to the Immortal count as quickly as possible, just in case his opponent pushed across, because he knows that Patience is committed a lot to Stalkers. So ShoWTimE could try and exploit his superior economy, but tries to focus down one of the Immortals. He's not going to get that at all. Nice blink forwards there by ShoWTimE. Very, very eager, but in the end does pay off. That poor little Observer died off. That didn't need to happen. Sentry with a happy kill. All right. So, Rubber Bay been added on for Patience a whole lot quicker than it was for ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE might not even go for it at all. He's going for Charge already, so we may see Charge Immortal Archon out of ShoWTimE, especially with the amount of gateways he's added on here. Yeah, so we are going to see a change. We are going to see big changes and deviations between these two playstyles. This is really, as of late, is the clash, the absolute clash of the two big builds in PvP. It's the Zealot Charge Archon Immortal style versus the Colossus-based style, if he actually wants to add on Colossi, because right now he's just adding on Charge. Where are our Colossi? Maybe after that one Immortal. There we go. Okay. So plenty more gateways are going to be added on for ShoWTimE in comparison to what we're seeing from Patience, because more of Patience's focus is on the Colossi. This is not a replay. This is currently live being played in the studios, just so you know. I am currently just casting over the German stream, so that is one of the reasons why I'm not observing, etc., etc. We have +2 weapons now on the way for both players, but again, we still have that slight discrepancy in terms of an advantage for ShoWTimE. And I would like to see, I wonder if ShoWTimE's just going to go. ShoWTimE could go with just Archons, like, as his army is. I mean, one Colossus with range isn't a huge threat to him right now. Like, a Colossus with 6 range, he has to micro that against Immortals if the Immortals want to get on top of it, because they have exactly the same range, pretty much. ShoWTimE placing an aggressive pylon, and also looking to expand behind this. So he's not, like, committing to something fully. He just wants to poke out and see exactly what's going on. Blink forwards, kills off a Stalker. That's a nice pickup. But I think ShoWTimE's probably going to play this out patiently. I really... That was not a pun. I think that... oh no. Okay, so here come the Archons. He's certainly going to play out this push patiently. Any other way would be detrimental to him, because he doesn't know what his opponent has behind all of this. The hallucinated Phoenix just spotted ShoWTimE's entire army, so Patience now knows what he's going to have to be dealing with when this push eventually comes. He spread his army out very nicely as well. There's quite a few Archons in the army here for ShoWTimE, and he's trying to capitalize off the fact that his upgrades are better. +2's finished here for ShoWTimE as he looks to push on forwards. That Time Warp causing a little bit of the problems for the Zealots to get really on top of this army. But where the Blinkstalkers go, they all went into the main for some reason, and ShoWTimE here, though, is taking a lot of damage. That second Colossus finishing up during, or before all of this fight, meant that it helped out a lot during it. ShoWTimE with that Warp Prism on the right-hand side down to the bottom right was trying to get on top of those Colossi, and indeed he does in the end. The army powers on through. He took a lot of damage at the very beginning, but when those Colossus were nullified, he killed off a ton. So ShoWTimE right now is completely evaporating those probes, blinking forwards, killing off this Colossus. ShoWTimE takes game number 1, and I was not expecting that. I was expecting Patience to probably just kill him off with the initial aggression, but ShoWTimE showed fantastic resilience and held on with a lot of balls, So really, really well played there by ShoWTimE. Good hold. And that means Patience is currently 1 game down. That being said, we've seen Patience recover already today against Hero Marine. So there's no reason he couldn't do it again here in this final. All right, so we're going to be getting on to game number 2 in just a little bit here, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in here at the ESL Pro Series Germany Finals for Spring 2014. Doing a little bit of solo casting here at ESL. Been a while since I've been doing that, some solo casting. Many reasons as to why I'm solo casting today, actually. I don't know if Sean would end up doing EPS with me, but even if he would, I mean, he can't right now because he's in Australia at his brother's wedding. I think he gave his best man speech like yesterday or something, I'm not sure, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I would like to hear Sean's best man speech. I'm going to have to ask about him when he gets back. For now, we are just waiting to get into game number 2. ShoWTimE currently 1 game up. That's got to be a confidence booster here for him. It's got to be. Going into this series, I think that, let me quickly just check something. Because, again, you know, I'm not too familiar with either of their PvPs as of late, because I just haven't seen that much of their PvPs as of late. So, ShoWTimE. Let's check his record against Protoss. Match history. But, I mean, one thing's for sure, in that first game he looked good. He looked very, very strong. The bulwark of ShoWTimE did hold. But now game number 2 is on the way between these two players as Patience and ShoWTimE face off against one another. And up to the top left on merry-go-round, here as our blue Protoss representing Alien Invasion, it is Patience. And up to the top right, we have our red Protoss. Currently 1 game up in this best of 5 grand finals. It is ShoWTimE. 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 Yeah. Piggyback broadcast, guys. This is a piggyback broadcast. All right. So let's get right on into it. Merry-go-round is our choice of map. And I think, again, if anyone was going for any proxy shenanigans, it's a good map to do it on. Because you can situate yourself right in the middle of the bases and then be completely fine, regardless of where your opponent's actually going to spawn, be it north or south. But also, one thing about merry-go-round that's very, very evident is that the main is pretty big. So you can actually hide things pretty well, I want to say. Like, there's a lot of area that you need to cover if you want to scout out the whole location. Which is why I feel that something like a sentry opener into eventual hallucinated Phoenix is a very, very good option. Because a map like this can be a bit tricky, I feel. Like, you can get away with quite a few things if it's not scouting out properly. Both players are scouting bottom first. Then they bump into each other and like, whoops. That was funny. I'm surprised Patience kept going. I'll be honest. Patience? Oh. Well, that's a little bit of a hit to him, I think. Like, it doesn't matter too much. He's going to be able to get in anyway. ShoWTimE isn't actually building a Zealot. And then even if he was, a Zealot is one thing that's it's very, very difficult to deny a pro from actually getting in with a Zealot alone. Nigh on impossible, in fact, against pro players. But the probe gets in for ShoWTimE. He has a look around and sees exactly what's going on. So that Stalker was in production. And then from there, we now have Patience also heading into the base of ShoWTimE. Let me see. And he gets pretty much a full scout off of things from what I can see on the minimap in the distance. So, what were they highlighting just then? Later gases, much later gases for Patience. I wonder if he's going to try and go for some kind of expand build. The Stalker's on patrol outside. Oh, he's going to go for the Twilight Council. I wonder what his option is from here. Because he has to be careful. He has to be very, very careful about what he chooses right now. As ShoWTimE is chrono boosting out 3 Stalkers frantically, along with the Mothership Core. Could be okay. Patience sending this Zealot in doesn't do a damn thing. Only sees 2 gateways churning away. So at least he knows that it is a 3 Stalker opening. And he knows where, you know, 100 extra of the gas for ShoWTimE was being spent. And thus he couldn't have really had a whole lot more to spend on other tech routes. Because that Zealot got in and saw 2 on each gas. If Patience was being very, very attentive to what he was seeing. So seeing 2 on each gas, seeing double gateways whirring away, you can't have that much gas as ShoWTimE in this situation. Is it possible to watch the German stream? Yes, it is. You can go over to Take TV stream. There you go, Mr. Off day. Okay, so aggressive pylon gets set up for ShoWTimE because he was always, I mean, with that third gateway going down, he was always going to commit to some kind of aggression. Patience is going to try and hold this off with initially one gateway into Blink and Mothership Core very, very late. So he's not going to have access to any photon overcharge at all. He kind of sacrificed having his Mothership Core very late for having that Twilight Council down quickly. The one thing he absolutely needs to do is have that sentry in a good spot. And it is for now, so he's okay. Blink has a defensive tool here for Patience, should be fine. Sentry gets added on, actually. He's got to be careful. That Mothership Core is going to get in there. It needs to recall out straight away as soon as it sees what it sees. Whoa! All right, good. Whew. That was close. Now he should realize, look how 4 HP. Did he see it? I think he saw it, right? Well, whatever. With seeing that, he realizes that he can't sit down there and try and contain with that sentry. So that was an important scout out there because ShoWTimE otherwise would have just sat around and lost a load of units against Blink Stalkers that were amassing. And unfortunately for ShoWTimE, this does come at the sacrifice of maybe 1 or 2 pylons in the middle of the map. So Robo Facility now being added into this by Patience, who, with his natural going down as well, I think he's pretty safely solidified. Although, that being said, ShoWTimE is actually adding on Immortals as well as Sentries. So there is the opportunity here for ShoWTimE to get aggressive if he realizes his opponent is throwing down natural by breaching that location, then throwing down force fields and busting with Immortals. It's a very, very scary composition to deal with. But one thing that's really outstanding for me on a map like Merry-Go-Round is that that kind of strategy is nowhere near as effective as it would be on a map like Polar Night, for example, because of the way in which you have to kind of cordon off areas and you need to spend a lot of force fields as opposed to just like 1 or 2. So this option to go for something like an expansion play here, in my opinion, is the better one. Leaves him a backup plan at least, even if he is going to go across. And you do have now Forge being added on for ShoWTimE, so he's going to play it a little bit more drawn out once again. Forge gets added on for Patience though, so he can stand toe-to-toe with ShoWTimE this game. Last game, he was a little bit behind. He was a little bit behind, and it wasn't very good for him in terms of those upgrades, because ShoWTimE hit at the most opportunistic moment, and throughout the entirety of watching ShoWTimE play, that is one thing that really stands out about him. He is an opportunistic player that when he was playing against a player like MVP, for example, during WCS, we saw him take advantage of the opportunities that were presented to him with very, 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 very strong vigor. Very, very strong vigor indeed. He was completely running away with the opportunities given to him. Be it a double Forge play, be it Colossus timings, be it anything. But anyway, back to our PvP. As we have 3 Immortals to 1 Immortals, that's a big difference in favor of ShoWTimE. He was continuing to produce those quite heavily, and he's actually going to be going up to 4 Immortals now. With that second one finishing for Patience, means up to 4 to 2 eventually. But an Warp Prism on the way for Patience. So, the interesting thing about all of this is, with the scouting intel he has, with the fact that he knows that his opponent doesn't have a Twilight Council and is, well, he doesn't know that he's only just adding it now, but that's the big tool that he would need to defend against the Warp Prism with, I'm assuming, Immortal drops. So Patience has seen an opportunity here because he realizes his opponent doesn't have too easy a time against the high mobility of this Warp Prism with the double Immortals inside it. And this could work. He's sending Hallucinated Phoenix forwards to locate where his opponent's army is. And he's going to see the Twilight Council having just finished and know that he has a bit of an opportunity here. I mean, it's charge in research. So even if he didn't have just that to go on, he would know that Blink is nowhere near completion. And anything he can get here is great. Getting a free pylon, sick. That will be annoying. That's an extra 100 minerals out of the way. He gets a Stalker. He gets, whoa, target down that Stalker. Okay, so he just got 3 Stalkers and a pylon for nothing. Good, strong control there by Patience here in game number 2. hallucinated phoenixes are just heading around, having a look. See? ShoWTimE just then saw a lot of gateways being added on. I don't know if he saw the Stargate. I can't confirm that. Wait, no, that was Patience's. No, that was ShoWTimE's Stargate. My apologies. Was that a second forge? This is really hard without being able to observe. I'm so sorry, guys, but no worries. All right, so a few gateways going down for ShoWTimE as well. This immortal harassment is going to continue to come because he knows his opponent does not have blink, and there's no reason why you should give up on that. ShoWTimE, wait, he needs to spot the Stargate because he could just start Phoenix and shut down that. That's one of the reasons, at least, why he's going for this. So the Immortal's going to head away now. And this Warp Prism is going to have to be used for alternate purposes, which, in my mind, is probably going to be counter Zealot Warp-ins if he knows his opponent actually moves out into the middle of the field. Anything else won't really make a whole lot of sense. So Hallucinated Phoenix for ShoWTimE spots the Warp Prism. He probably still assumes that there's two Immortals inside it because he hasn't seen it being unloaded or otherwise. So one Phoenix will come over here in just a little bit, but he might be adding on more Phoenix, pulling them up, and then waiting to go in so that he can try and kill it, assuming that there's two Immortals still in it, and kill it before he can even get to land to evacuate the two Immortals out. That's certainly one thing that could be on the mind of ShoWTimE here. So, more gateways have been spotted by ShoWTimE once again. I wonder if he spotted that third base down to the bottom left. And now the Warp Prism is under harassment. Now, ShoWTimE, after killing this, without seeing anything evacuate, might be under the impression that, yes, he just killed two Immortals with a Warp Prism. But that's not the case. So he doesn't want to he doesn't want to let that go. He doesn't want to let that himself get ahead of himself. Otherwise, that would be pretty crazy. All right. So this army for Patience is growing in size. Very, very strong indeed. A lot of Zealots in there. Getting on top of those Immortals would be fantastic. The three Archons at the back are really the damage dealers to when that happens. And he's got to be careful because ShoWTimE doesn't want to press the issue too much. I think he's going to be running into an army that is stronger than his if he's not careful. Patience has Blink. He'd have the same upgrades. Time Warp goes down. He actually pushes on forwards. A few Zealots for Patience are caught at the back of this. Both armies are in Time Warp, so it's do or die now. Still more Zealots swapping in, but look at the top position. Nice Blink back there by Patience to let those Zealots through, let the floodgates open. And ShoWTimE, in terms of supply, is absolutely plummeting. With those Zealots now on top of those Immortals, Patience focusing those Immortals very, very heavily with those Zealots. It means that it's going to be much harder here for ShoWTimE to really make anything of this engagement. A few Zealots of ShoWTimE's actually get on top of the Immortals themselves, but reinforcements once from Patience come along. GG, he ties up the series 1-1. And that means we're going to go on to game number 3 in just a little bit. So small intricacies there in that last engagement. You cannot have those Zealots stuck behind Stalkers, for example, which was good control there by Patience. Notice how, with the two Time Warps down on both armies, that Patience was controlling almost exclusively his Zealots, really not much else, allowing the Stalkers and Immortals to do what they needed to do because they are the ranged units. The Zealots getting on top of those Immortals, surrounding them and trying to deal with them as quickly as possible is the biggest threat to you during those engagements. Patience identifies that, Patience executes that. So good stuff there from Patience here in game number 2, tying up the series now. Means we have a potential total of 3 games left here for our grand finals. I'm just going to take a short 1-minute break, and then when we're back, we shall have game number 3. All right, guys, game number 3 now on the way between ShoWTimE and Patience. 1-1 apiece here, ESC versus Alien Invasion. As we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner our blue Protoss representing ESC Icy Box. It's ShoWTimE. And up to the top right-hand corner, we have our red Protoss representing Alien Invasion. Tying up the series, it's Patience. I like that style of intro better, as it shows their face, I say their name, as opposed to saying it before it shows their face. I'm like analyzing my casting as I go. That's fun. All right. It's been a lot of fun casting these games so far, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in. Some fun games that we've had here so far. Marine trying to battle against Mr. Patience, but unable to do so. And now Patience is here for great victory. He wants to steal all the German money. All right. So, Overgrowth is our map as things unfold here. No difference in the gateway timings, noticeably. No one went for an earlier gateway here to try and do something very, very aggressive right from the very beginning of this game. And I'm intrigued to find out what the openers are going to be from these two players. There are a lot of options available to them. 3 main ones, obviously, Twilight Council, Stargate, and Robo Facility. Robo Facility is kind of faded out of fashion. It's very, very rare that you would actually see a straight-to Robo opener now. It's all about the Twilight Councils and the Stargates. Sometimes you see the Robo opener if someone's really, really wanting to get an expansion out super quick. And anticipating some kind of blink play from their opponent. But yeah, there's actually change that. There are the 3 big ways to go down, but it's like Twilight Council, Stargate, and then Gateway Pressure is the one I'm going to go to as the 3rd. And then anything out of that is a little bit less common, I would say. All right, so. Second gateway is already added on here for Patience, so it looks like he's going to be going up to multiple stalkers pretty fast. It seems like a complete role reversal, actually. Could... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, hey, he added on a sentry. Hold the phone. Okay, so he could... Patience from here could be playing out a very, very thorough game, is what I want to call it. In terms of getting the sentry out very quickly with the 2 gateways, he's playing super... defensively. He's playing a style that he's eventually going to be using the sentry initially as a defensive tool, just in case he needed a force field or something like that. But then when it banks 100 energy, it's a great scouting tool. So Stargate goes down behind this for Patience. What he should do now is, yeah, right, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Todd. Right, he should hallucinate an oracle and then send a real oracle in after it. That would be sick. Right, Todd? Right? I know Todd's probably not watching, but yeah. So, Patience, yeah, going for a expansion. Anything off that sentry would have always been an expansion from here for Patience. Whilst we have ShoWTimE going for Dark Shrine of the Twilight Council. Now, this for Patience, like, needs to be oracle. If it's not, it's going to be a bit of a pain. And where's our Oracle? Yay. Okay, great stuff. The Robo, as well as extra gateway, have been added on for ShoWTimE. And he's even proxied a pylon already to go for the offensive Dark Shrine attacks. Patience is being a little cheeky beggar with this pylon. I love that pylon placement. I completely didn't know about that for now. Our German observers are highlighting the fact that there is a little Protoss statue down there. And we have the Robo being added on for Patience in all due time, so he has the sentry available to him. He can just throw another force field on the ramp if he's being mindful and watching when a Dark Shrine or a Dark Templar would come along. What's sent him first? There is a... Oh, it's a Hallucinate Phoenix. I wanted it to be an Oracle. Oh, no. Hey, he's adding on Void Rays. Sick. I like Void Rays. Void Rays are cool. Oh, he should have sent an Hallucinated Oracle. It would have been the coolest thing ever. I think he already knows this is going to be Yeah, I mean, like, he brings that back. He knows now, with that hallucinated Phoenix, he saw this. Throws down the force field. What are you doing? Patience? Oh, jeez. That could have gone better. I think he was trying to be clever and not waste force field energy by saving... He didn't have to lose that sentry. God damn it. Oh well. Anyway, he didn't have to lose that sentry, guys. Truly. But an observer now sees the Zealot, so Zealot shouldn't do too much. But he also saw the Pylon in turn. Forge is actually being added on here by ShoWTimE very, very quickly, but as is the one from Patience over at the back. So we're going to go more into the macro mid-game of Protoss versus Protoss. And one thing that I don't like is that a lot of people say, oh, from here on out, like, they just max out and wait. But in Protoss versus Protoss, it's just not true. There are a lot of, like, mid-game timings that can be hit. Be it the one where you, like, force field your opponent's army behind the natural with a few force fields and then try and break down the Nexus. Or be it just, you know, you see your opponent is lacking in some kind of unit composition or a weapons timing, like we saw from ShoWTimE before. So there are certainly a lot of opportunities. This Oracle hasn't got anything done. Both of these guys really understand the importance of this match, because I mean, it's the difference between an extra 1,500 euros. I would take an extra 1,500 euros. I'm sure you would as well out there. That'd be nice. So it's either, again, just to clarify that statement, it's either 1,500 euros for second place or 3,000 euros for first place. All right, so threw down the Revelation on a few of those units just to keep check on them. And ShoWTimE has his charge on the way. The reason I sometimes get these guys mixed up in terms of names is because they keep changing color. That's not too helpful, but nothing really to worry about. So ShoWTimE has got his charge on the way. We have the Robo Bay going down as well for Patience, so slight change up in terms of these techs. Is he actually going to get anything out more than just one Void Ray? Is he going to get another Void Ray out or something? Well, one thing's for sure, this Hallucinated Phoenix got in there and saw that charge was on the way. So he can anticipate his opponent's like follow-up move of it being like the Charge Lot Archon Immortal composition. And again, one of those mid-game timings that exists here in PvP is when Zealots, Charge Lot Immortal Archon can hit before Colossus numbers have really raised high enough. We saw, with the weapons upgrades lining up nicely in game number 1, ShoWTimE hit that brilliantly. And it could happen again. He could be poised around this +2 weapons. He's got his third gate expansion on the way. That's a given. ShoWTimE doesn't want to be going into the later stages of this game with without a backup plan, just in case something like that didn't work. But as that +2 weapons continues on now for ShoWTimE, we could see if Patience actually doesn't start his. There we go. Okay, so there is a window there. There is a window, especially since he's chrono boosting at that +2 weapons. And noticeably, Patience can see the chrono boost into that +2 weapons. He's actually focusing down on that. If he gets that Forge, no, he's not gonna. But he did put under power some of these gateways at least, which will kind of put a wrench in the spanner of the plan here. Spanner in the works, that's the one. I don't. My sentences have gone out the window. Hey, cast guy, I've thought it over, and will you marry me? I'm not 100% sure my girlfriend would appreciate. And you have a brilliant name. So, anyway. So, Templar Archives is being added on here for Patience as well. But still, look, the Chrono Boost was being heavily spent into that +2 weapons. This is where ShoWTimE technically would have loved to have hit a big timing. With this +2 weapons, whilst his opponent was trying to get the Colossi count up that he sorely desired. But I don't think now, with the little bit of damage that was done, you know, underpowering some gateways, I don't think that ShoWTimE feels fully comfortable with pressuring out with this. So he's probably just going to sit back. All right. A few more Dark Templars get warped in for the Archons here for ShoWTimE. And he has to be careful about where he takes that engagement because he could get choked up in between this this pylon and the cliff face, just a little bit north of his expansion. Doesn't want that to happen. A lovely little pylon wall there by Patience on his natural, actually, to deny any Zealots from getting in. And he just needs to wait for this +2 weapons. Likewise, though, to ShoWTimE, he needs to force that engagement before that +2 weapons finishes. Oracle will die, but now he's going to go for the engagement. That's a great time warp. If he actually landed, like, if he actually just went now, look how many Archons at the back there are caught for ShoWTimE. A few Archons at the back of that engagement aren't doing a damn thing. And Patience takes a little bit of a supply lead. Wants more Zealots to push on forwards against this. There are only 3 Archons now. He gets this position that he wants to, and he kills off the expansion. But one thing that's important to note is that Patience needed to kill off that expansion because he doesn't have his own back at home. He's going to throw down pylons, though, to get ever more aggressive. And those three Colossi, sorry, are really going to shred this army up. The ShoWTimE's army now is waning in comparison. There is so much firepower behind Patience's. The upgrades are equal. He's trying to go in for the Warp Prism. He was looking to set that up whilst the engagement was going on so he could warp some Zealots maybe around the back of his opponent's army. But unfortunately, he loses that, so it's not going to be there in the fight. But he still has a very, very good power punch left with these Colossi. Look at this. He's exploiting the fact that these Colossi are able to pick away at this frontal army. A little bit of a warping once again. Micros the Colossi back while the Zealots charge forward. A huge torrent and flood of Zealots chase ShoWTimE away from his natural, and now he's completely pinned back. He doesn't have an observer. Does he not have an observer? Where is it? 1, 2. Okay, so there was one there helping out. He almost got himself a Colossus there. The Zealots need to come back and always be engaging with the army. Having 4 Colossi against this for Patience is absolutely fantastic. He's even dancing his units. He knows the position he is in. He knows the power he's in. GG. Patience takes game number 3. And that means now Patience is 1 game away from not only claiming first place in the EPS Germany Spring 2014, but also being the first Korean to do that. And with the amount of Koreans that we now have living inside Germany, with the likes of the Alien Invasion Team House in Duisburg and the Global Esports Management House over in Dusseldorf, we could be seeing this more and more. So, will Patience be able to round it out and get that final victory, or will he, ShoWTimE, tie it up 2-2? We'll find out in just a little bit. I'm going to go to a short break, guys, and then when we're back, game number 4. All right, guys, game number 4 between ShoWTimE and Patience on the way as we spawn on Habitation Station. Up to the top right-hand corner, our blue Protoss representing ESC Icy Box. It is ShoWTimE. And up to the top left-hand corner, our red Protoss, 1 game away from being an EPS champion representing Alien Invasion. It's Patience. Patience. All right. So, please, 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 for the love of all that is fantastic here in StarCraft, let's not see a Stargate versus Stargate opener. Let's see something different here on this map. I think we probably will. I don't think we'll see a Stargate versus Stargate. And then even if we did, it would de-evolve into Phoenix versus Phoenix openers anyway. Anybody that opens an Oracle on this map after a Stargate opener, unless they've got some intel that leads them to think otherwise, is a crazy man. But anyway, other than that, PvP on this map can be pretty cool. Lots of pylons going down to the left-hand side, or down to the south even. There's a lot of room for proxies down there as well. But because there is a lot of room for proxies down there, we see not only people being very, very diligent about their scouting down to the south. Aside from that, though, 2 gases. Very, very fast here for ShoWTimE, as Patience decides to go for the 15 double gas instead. So not quite as eager to get the gas out. It means that he can just have a probe out a little bit faster than his opponent. It means his mineral income is a bit more fluid. So ShoWTimE is emphasizing gas income very, very heavily. 3 in each gas by the looks of things. 3 in each gas off of 14-14. Or was it a 14-15? Regardless of what it was, certainly going to be some tech going down at that pylon at the back. And then Patience, what you up to, my friend? Hey, look, a pylon down to the south. Who would have guessed? All right, so why is that probe moving away from the pylon is the big question. You know what I think he's doing? I think he's trying to scare his opponent. I think he's trying to say, this pylon is completely normal in his build, right? This pylon is completely normal in his build. But he's trying to hide one away to make it look like something crazy is going on. He added on the Twilight Council, and yes, it has been spotted. And the Stargate opener here from ShoWTimE. Why would he put that pylon down there? Maybe he wants to go and throw a Dark Shrine down there and make it look like he was going for Blink. This is one of the options. One of the options is that, again, what I repeated before, that he wanted to throw down a pylon down there, so it made it look like there wasn't extra pylons, and he's like, wait a minute, what, do you have a proxy somewhere? What's going on? Where's your proxy? But it looks like he's actually going to send this down there and go for the Dark Shrine. So it's a little bit mistimed if he is going to do this. There we go. Okay, so there were 2 big options. The second one is the one we're looking for. And ShoWTimE for now, if he ends up poking in at all, he's going to go in with the Oracle eventually and see the Twilight Council, but he's not going to see a Dark Shrine. Now, the Oracle obviously here for ShoWTimE is a good opener. And if you think back to what I said before, like something like Stargate versus Stargate, it's like, unless you think otherwise, unless you scout otherwise, then Oracle will normally not be a good idea on this map. But ShoWTimE spotted in that base that there was no Stargate. He spotted that there was Twilight Council already. There's no way on Earth he could have had a Stargate down there. That probe actually might see that Dark Shrine. But he gets in there. He starts Blink. That could be a fake. That could be very, very fake. He starts blinking a Chrono Boost into it. Where's the probe? Did the probe see everything? Did it see it? It did! It saw it! Ah, wow. All right. So now he may anticipate... Okay, there's 2 things that could happen. He may anticipate the blink being a fake, and he probably does, because why would you hide a Dark Shrine down here anyway? But alternatively, the Dark Shrine could have been cancelled if Patience realized it had been scouted, and then he could have just stuck with blink and then just killed him. That would have been crazy. Is he really just going to go for an expansion? Oh, I guess he is. Great. Okay, and he's going to let Blink finish as well. Sick. And no Dark Templars are going to be warped in at all. I love it. I love it. Oh, wait, no, he's going to warp in 1 Dark Templar. Okay. This is going to be the containment Dark Templar, because he has to know that it's been spotted. Surely. Surely. Anyway. The Observer's there, ready and waiting. And... sick. Good force fields. Looks to get the sentries. 1 swipe. 2. Nope. Doesn't get it. Okay. So, this means, guys, that I wanted to say that Patience was a little bit behind, but because of the timing on his Nexus, I suppose he's going to be doing okay. I don't know. He's diversified himself so much to the point where he now has Blink and Dark Templars, but neither is going to be too useful. Blink could be okay if he has an abundance of Stalkers. to go for some kind of defense if ShoWTimE wanted to like press the issue with an Immortal push. But the thing is an Immortal push on this map is super, super hard because of the ramp at the natural. So these Stalkers are moving out into the middle of the map. This has to be premeditated. Like, he has to be doing this for some kind of reason because they were revelated. They were seen. They are being seen walking across the map. So he has to be trying to... He almost got a sentry there. He has to... Well, I mean, he knew that was coming. He absolutely did. It doesn't matter. Not really a whole lot happened. ShoWTimE might be feeling a bit insecure now about what's going on. 4 kills in this Oracle so far, and the sentries! Tickle beams of doom. Oh, dear me. Oh, no, 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 no. Close, but no cigar. Okay, so for now, just Immortals on top of Immortals on top of Immortals. It's like that Turtles thing where you have turtles on top of turtles on top of turtles. And we have the Robo Bay being added on by ShoWTimE whilst he's cranking his Immortals out. So I feel that ShoWTimE is in a good spot. Like, I think ShoWTimE is just kind of leading in general. He has a great potential here to tie up the series. It's not the hugest of leads, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that, oh my god, Patience is dead. Patience is by no means dead. I mean, his probe count is fine. He is healthy. He has good, strong running legs. Yeah, he's all right. But just ShoWTimE with a slight edge right now. Adding on Twilight Council, probably going to just go straight to charge. There's no real need for him to have Blink too much at all. And double Colossus production comes out for Patience. All right. Well, this could be very, very good against ShoWTimE if ShoWTimE commits to the amount of Zealots he has been doing in the past. Zealots with charge. Let's get that charger going once that Twilight Council finishes ShoWTimE. But if you're going to deal with double Colossus production, you got to be careful. Like, ShoWTimE actually needs to spot this pretty fast. And then from there, ideally needs Tempest to deal with double Colossus production. The probe count right now sat at 50 to 50. So very, very close economy-wise. Dead even, in fact. Unless somebody has 4 on 1 gas or something, but I don't think they do. And there is still this pylon down here, which is guarding currently that 3rd base. So, was something revelated there? No, I don't think so. There is the Oracle. He must have seen all of this then. That may have all been revelated. Regardless, Hallucinated Phoenix just came over and saw the double Robo. And the thing is, it's very ballsy by Patience to go double Robo against somebody who went for a Stargate opener, because the Fleet Beacon is just a hop, skip, and a jump away. So, what ShoWTimE right now, by the looks of things, is saying is that I'm going to have Colossi out, but I'm also going to have Archons out, and then I'm going to try and deal with you that way. But I don't think, in the greater scheme of things, it's really going to work out too well. I think this double Colossus production is just going to run ShoWTimE over. He finally killed that pylon down towards the 3rd, because realizing that Zealot was there, he was like, well, how could that have ever got there? But yeah, this could get a bit tense. All right, so for now, ShoWTimE is playing out this safely, as is Patience. Both of them are just saying, well, look, right, this is a pretty important match. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna stick back and stick to my guns. ShoWTimE will have +3 far more intensely and rapidly here than Patience will, because of the progression of those upgrades. But after seeing double Colossi production, I'm still surprised that we're not seeing ShoWTimE go for Tempest. That might come back to bite him here. It might do. I've seen... Don't remind me of that game of... I can't remember who it was. It was Baby Knight versus a Korean Protoss. It might have been San. It might have been San in WCS. Now, there we go. There's the Tempest. Oh, hidden. Ooh, cheeky. All right. Well, what was I saying? I was saying something. Yeah, without Tempests against double Colossi production, it's just, and you're only on one Colossus production, it's very, very scary. You can do very, very little against it. And now, I mean, look at the Colossi counts. There's like 6 there. Are there another 2 on the way? No, there's not another 2. How many Colossi do we have up thingy? Because he could just go now and cause havoc. The Fleet Beacon and Stargate even, could have been down a little bit earlier. And these Tempest numbers could have been there. But Patience doesn't... The thing is, Patience, with his hallucinated Phoenix, if he's ever scouting in the main, like, yes, he might see a Tempest now in production, but what if he, like, missed that? What if he didn't go so far and didn't see... and had no chance of seeing, like, a Fleet Beacon or something like that? Because he doesn't have a chance of seeing a Fleet Beacon. It's going to be impossible for him. Unless he sends a Zealot from those pylons that he has down to the very south. But double Tempest production now. ShoWTimE, all he has to do is buy his time. But just buy time, sit back. Stardust versus Baby Knight. Thank you very much for reminding me of that game. But yeah, double Colossus production without Tempest can just evaporate anything. Stardust versus Baby Knight. Blau... I can't pronounce your name, but you are a hero. Thank you very much. Okay, so... Double Immortal. Harassment. He sees the Tempest in production now, and now he's got to be a bit scared. Alright, here's what you do against this in Patience's shoes. You see Tempests, and then what you do is you kill off his army, you trade armies, and then you open nothing but Stalkers with Blink, because Patience has Blink, right? Yeah. And then you kill. So this is the plan. That's the plan. That's the plan, guys. Go with the plan. Okay, so. Patience for now, moving into the middle of the map and looking to pressure. This army's pretty strong. A lot of Zealots in there. This isn't the most favorable of engagement locations, and again, he really doesn't have much to deal with the Tempest. He actually needs to just go. He actually just needs to go, because he can't sit around here. If he does, if he just sits around, he needs to open nothing but Stalkers now to bring down those Tempests eventually. The Colossi spread isn't that great. 2 of the Colossi down to the south there weren't firing for a little while, and ShoWTimE here technically is losing a lot of his ground army, but as is Patience. The Tempests are still going uncontested. All he has to do is micro back against this, and then he should be okay, because the Tempests are doing the job that they need to. That wasn't the best engagement position at all from Patience. And he's just warping in Zealots everywhere now. This is like the attempt to try and bring himself back into the game. But ShoWTimE, if he plays his cards right from here on out, he's going to tie up the series 2-2. I don't... It always saddens me when I see engagements like that in PvP, because, like, imagine if he'd have gone before. Like, obviously you can't have that perfect information from on ShoWTimE for Patience, but with the double Robo production that was lasting for so long, he could have absolutely killed ShoWTimE. But ShoWTimE somehow, some way, got away with the Tempest production down to the bottom right, and the Tempests. They had nothing to contest them. There was no Stalker numbers. And then again, the only like retreat path is Patience taking a good engagement with a proper concave where all the Colossi are firing, and then from there, killing enough of the ground army quickly, it like evaporates it to the point where the Tempests haven't done their job quickly enough, and then you just warp in Stalkers from there on out. But now Patience is in dire straits. Dire straits here in game number 4. And unbelievably, once ShoWTimE is able to close this out some way, we may end up having that game 5, which doesn't happen all too often in grand finals. We don't normally go all the way to the very final game, but seemingly in this matchup, these two are pretty evenly matched. All right, well, Patience is clutching at straws at the moment. With that expansion going down to the bottom left-hand corner, that's really the only way that I can see for him to truly do something. These few Zealots are going to go and try and work away at this Dark Shrine, which is nice. It's alright. It's okay. Sick casting. But these Zealots and Archons, as well as the Colossi and Tempests, are just... I mean, he could sit out of range of Patience's army and just work away with those 5 Tempests for ages and not have to engage with his entire army. But he knows how much of an advantage he has now. GG, ShoWTimE is able to tie up the series 2-2. And now we come down to one last game between these two players to find out who is our EPS champion. I'm going to take a short break, guys, so join me after it when we get onto game number 5 to find out who is going to be our EPS champion. Will it be ShoWTimE or will it be Patience? See you in a minute. All right, guys, welcome back. One more game decides it all. Will it be Patience or will it be ShoWTimE? Our last map is going to be Frost to determine our EPS champion. And again, a big thank you for tuning in throughout the entire broadcast. I haven't solo cast in quite a while, and I am a bit wounded and on painkillers, but thank you for bearing with us as we have, spawning up to the top right-hand corner, our red Protoss, representing ESC Gaming, or ESC Icy Box. It is ShoWTimE. Tying it up 2-2, bringing it back, bringing the fight to this man. Down to the bottom left-hand corner, our blue Protoss, representing Alien Invasion. It is Patience. Kylaris, one question. As a Polish player, it's always bugging me. Why are you people always losing bets with Carmack? I didn't make a bet with Carmack, that was a joke, but lots of people do lose bets with Carmack, you are indeed correct. And that's just because he gives none. Carmack doesn't care, he will bet about anything and he doesn't care about the repercussions. I believe this is why Carmack is Carmack. And there is my answer. All right. We have a very, very tight family. It's a very, very cool family at ESL TV and Turtle Entertainment. Fantastic company to work for. If you ever get an opportunity to work here, I strongly recommend it. Anyway. So. Let's get into this. Why your gas is so late, Patience? Patience, why your... Okay, there was one. There's 2. All right, so Patience adapts to the map very, very well. 2 gases at 16. So a very greedy opener here from Patience in this final map in PvP. Turtle Swag 420. You are a turtle, bro. And ShoWTimE, meanwhile, up to the top right-hand corner, has just gone back to a normal kind of gas opener. 3 in one, 2 in the other. We have 3 in one, 2 in the other for Patience. So similar gas incomes, but obviously ShoWTimE has banked a little bit more because of the way in which he opened earlier on. So if we're going to see anything shenaniganry-ish come out, it's going to be from ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE's built his wall up in such a way that he can put tech behind that and make it a little bit harder for Patience to end up scouting at the very, very back there. Going past that gateway or going past the 7-8 core or going past the mineral line is a treacherous route. So, but nerves may become a factor here in this last game. It's one game to decide 1,500 euros difference. So you got to keep your cool. You gotta keep your cool going into this final map. Frost, cross positions. We could be in for a very long game. That being said, Twilight Council has been thrown up here for ShoWTimE. And with that pylon to the top left as well, we could see a Dark Shrine go up there and make it hidden to be scouted. But look at this. Patience, absolutely no fear, goes for the natural. This is a power play. This is a big move here from Patience. He asserts himself so well on a map like this. Look at the deviations. Look at the change-ups that Patience has made going into this final map. He got his gases a lot later. He's going for his natural a lot earlier. And there is going to be the Dark Shrine against the Twilight Council opening from Patience. Patience needs a robo facility like right now. Well, not right now, but maybe in like the next 30, 40 seconds or so. Oh, is he going to go for a Dark Shrine as well? Patience. Patience, don't do this to my heart. That pylon up to the top right, I think he's going to... Ah! All right. Alarm bells. Woo, 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 woo. Panic! Oh, he got a robo as well. They both got a robo. Okay, nothing's going to happen. Panic averted. Turn the alarms off. Woo, woo, woo. All right, I'm done. I'm done being silly. Okay, so the big difference is that Patience has an expansion and ShoWTimE does not. Ta-da! So as all of this comes out and as all of this keeps on going, ShoWTimE needs that expansion. There we go. No! Wait. Oh. Okay, there we go. Okay, he queued it up and I was like, where is it? It was like all these minerals disappeared. Like, they got drained. Okay. So... Observer on the way, Observer on the way. Nobody's going to take any damage, and this was the most boring Dark Templar versus Dark Templar opener of all time. Thank you guys, as things will normalize aside from Patience having his expansion a whole lot faster. And he sees the Dark Templar, he's like, no, hide the probes! Think of the probes! Did he even get one? I think he got one. Sick. All right, one probe is dead. And on the other side of things, ShoWTimE is now like, God damn it, you open with such a fast expansion. You are a nasty person. There is that pylon that you can still warp into Dark Templar. But the forges are at similar times. We have Immortal production on the way once again for both players. We have a little bit of sporadic pro production on the way for ShoWTimE. Patience is cranking out 2 at a time, constantly flying with that, but ShoWTimE was a little bit lackluster in his pro production. So they're going to need to continue sending the hallucinations over, keep an eye on their opponent's bases. Basically, guys, if you play PvP correctly, it's like map hacks. Like, as long as you have the right number of sentries early on, and as long as you keep those hallucinations going, as Mr. Spretzt has mentioned in our chat, you do gain a huge amount of intel to the point where you can almost always know what your opponent's up to. And that's one reason why we saw ShoWTimE in game number 4 add his Stargate as well as Fleet Beacon on in a proxy location. Generally, you don't really proxy tech that late into a game, but in PvP, it's more so prevalent than in any other matchup. Maybe you see it sometimes in ZVP from the Zerg side of things, like hiding a Spire somewhere, but that's like mid-game decisions, right? That's not like late-game decisions where, let's face it, that PvP was in late game, and that's where those Tempests really kicked ass. But I don't think I've ever said kicked ass in a cast before, but there you go. Okay, so a few more gateways get added on for Patience here. He's adding on the Templar archives as well. And I think as things play out here, Patience has a good firm grasp of this game. He needs to start his +2 quickly though, and he needs to get that Chrono boosted into, because you can guarantee over the other side of things, ShoWTimE is going to be Chrono boosting into his +2 weapons pretty fast. And yeah, there's that +2 now on the way for him. So at least he started that like as +1 was going. Two Immortals now find themselves a juicy Nexus, which cannot be saved and will be forced to be cancelled because the army was way too far off position. But likewise, Patience is doing exactly the same. His Warp Prism is en route around the map as well, but instead of looking for a Nexus, they could find some other units. For example, if those double Immortals actually somehow found that pocket of Colossi that are going to be hiding themselves behind the Natural, that would be a disaster for ShoWTimE, an absolute disaster. And because we don't see much anti-air for ShoWTimE, that kind of thing could happen. So he's got to be careful about how he positions his army. He doesn't want one of those Colossi to be killed off. Notice how he's not brought it with this army to like push this back. So he's still kind of hiding the Colossi tech. It's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. And if he goes with 2 Colossi and +2 weapons with Thermal Lance, that could be very, very strong. But walking across the entirety of this map, he's going to be shut down. Like, it's too long to go. Somebody asking in chat who is winning. I would still give a slight edge to Patience here because of the way in which Patience is constantly trying to claim a third base, but unfortunately he can't because of the Warp Prism harassment. So if this situation continues on without Patience claiming himself that third base, then I would give ShoWTimE technically an advantage. But with Patience now forcing that Warp Prism away from the third base, I would say that he has a little bit of an edge. As long as he understands that, yeah, he does now. He understands that Colossi are on the way. He's adding on Fleet Beacon as well as Stargate. But it could be too late. ShoWTimE is actually going to push across now, by the looks of things. And this is a similar timing for ShoWTimE, at least, to the one that I was hoping that Patience would hit in the past game. So he catches that, and now he's isolated 2 Immortals in there. He needs to actually, like, oh, that's sad. Pick one of them up. Pick it up. Pick it up for the fun. Pick it up. Oh. All right, so there's going to be 3 Colossi. There's not going to be any Tempest. He's going to have to deal with this with just his Gateway Force alone. That being said, his supply is a little bit in favor of him. So about 7 of that is in probes. So if we take away the 7 of in probes and assume that ShoWTimE has standard saturation from there on out, it's like 10 supply lead in terms of this army. But those 3 Colossi pack so much punch that Warp Prism with the 2 Immortals in it is going to be the MVP. If Patience wants to win this fight, he has to drop the Warp Prism with the Immortals around the Colossi, or buy time for these Tempests to come out. ShoWTimE's time himself is also running out. He actually needs to do something. And here we go. No, we don't. The Warp Prism was on the hunt. It lost a lot of its shields, so now that needs to recharge if that wants to work. And he can pull the probes away from here. There's no need for him to fully save this expansion. His opponent doesn't have an expansion behind this. He can just wait for the Tempests. And then once they come along, ShoWTimE is going to be in a really, really horrible spot. He actually has to recall. He has to recall. He can't stay there. Because if he doesn't recall, he's just going to get constantly pounded back by those Tempests. At least if he wants to stick around in that location. But now it's going to be, like, there's 2 Tempests out, +3 weapons is on the way, and ShoWTimE never started his +3 weapons. ShoWTimE was so 2-base all-in-y that now Patience has established himself that third base, he is up and running, he has the tech required to deal with the Colossi, and it's looking really, really bad for ShoWTimE. As I said before, if Patience was able to get this third base up and solidify it, he is in a good spot. These 3 Tempests, what's there to contest with them? What, the Archons? It doesn't really matter. As long as the Tempests kill off a few of these, then they should be fine. And 1 Colossus falls. Second one also gone down. There is a hallucinated Colossus during all of this. The Tempests actually sacrificed themselves a little bit unwittingly, but it doesn't really matter because now all the Zealots are gone for ShoWTimE. And this army supply count is actually very, very even. The Tempests were not controlled effectively enough. I was surprised he just left them there for the Archons to work away at them. It's very, very even indeed, though. This is going to be damn close because the Zealot warpings continue on. ShoWTimE has more Zealots, but these 2 Colossi staying alive during all of this. That 1 Colossus at the back actually has like 2 health. Very, very minimal health. ShoWTimE now, with Patience's mistake of leaving those Tempests above the army, is now in a good spot. He could actually do a lot of damage here. Patience could have thrown this away. Patience could have thrown this away by just chilling out with those Tempests above those Archons. This is getting scary now for Patience. He's down in terms of supply, and he doesn't have any Tempests to his name. He might have one, as one has just started in production once again, but there's the Chrono Boost into the gateways. ShoWTimE realizes how much of an opportunity he has here to push on through. This is as good as any. 2 Colossi now, one of them just recharging its shields, and there is no Tempests. The one Tempest in production is the one opportunity that Patience has to save himself this game. But these 2 Colossi are the absolute kings of this game so far. The Immortals try and walk forward to get on top of them, but they're not doing. 40 supply to 20. ShoWTimE is currently raining down havoc. The Tempest actually pops out, and he's gonna clean up the Colossi, but in the end, it doesn't even matter if he gets that Colossus, because the Archons and Zealots are going to do the damage at the 3rd base. Patience has lost a lot of workers, and he's losing even more. But there's a Dark Templar in this mix as well. He kills off the pylon there, but now ShoWTimE, double the supply. Patience had so much room to micro with those Colossi. Sorry, with the Tempest. This Observer has been there for ages and gone undeterred. There was no other observers. He would have always had vision for the Colossi, and he just had to micro back the Tempests onto his high ground in his main, and then he would have probably won that engagement. But in the end, he got a little bit too eager, I suppose, and now ShoWTimE is making the most of it. Again, ever the opportunist now, looking to push on towards the natural. And Patience is down and out. GG, congratulations. ShoWTimE is our EPS Germany champion. But I can't help but feel that Patience threw that away. Well, that's going to do it, guys. Congratulations to ShoWTimE for being our EPS champion. That's going to do it for me here. I'm going to switch back to myself for just a little second. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. I'm going to switch back to the German stream now so you can see the prize ceremony unfold here on the English stream. And if you would like to support us, go to @ESLTV on Twitter and myself @KyleAris on Twitter. Make sure to follow this guy @ESC_ShoWTimE. And that's going to do it from me. So thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure casting for you. And congratulations to our champion, ESC ShoWTimE.